Welcome, dear brothers and sisters. It's a pleasure to be with you to study together the Watchtower study for the weekend meeting, September 13th to 14th, 2025. Let's begin our consideration of the paragraphs. 1 Part A. Why do some Bible students hesitate to take a stand for the truth? Some Bible students hesitate to take a stand for the truth because they fear rejection from workmates, friends, or family members. Others may feel overwhelmed by the thought of living up to Jehovah's standards, believing they will never be able to do so. Jesus understood that such fears could hinder spiritual growth, as seen in the illustration of the sower. However, rather than giving up on those who hesitated, he showed empathy and provided help through his disciples, encouraging a patient and understanding approach. Second part. B. What will we consider in this article? This article will examine how we can imitate Jesus when using the Enjoy Life Forever or book to help a Bible student take a stand for the truth. Specifically, we will learn how to help the student 1. Identify what is holding them back, 2. Deepen their love for Jehovah, 3. Adjust their priorities, and 4. Overcome personal challenges. These steps are essential for helping them grow spiritually and become firmly rooted in the truth. 3. What may have prevented Nicodemus from becoming one of Jesus' disciples? Nicodemus, though a respected Jewish leader, allowed fear to hold him back from becoming a disciple of Jesus. Even though he recognized early on that Jesus was sent by God, he chose to meet with him secretly out of fear of the other Jews. This suggests that Nicodemus may have felt he had too much to lose, possibly his status, reputation, or influence, if he openly identified himself as a follower of Christ. 4. How did Jesus help Nicodemus to understand what God expected him to do? Jesus helped Nicodemus by being generous with his time and by clearly outlining what Jehovah required. Even though Nicodemus already had knowledge of the law, Jesus met with him at night and explained that he needed to repent of his sins, get baptized, and exercise faith in the Son of God. This personal and direct approach helped Nicodemus understand that knowledge alone was not enough. Action and faith were also necessary. 5. How can we help a Bible student to identify what is hindering his progress? To help a Bible student recognize what might be hindering his spiritual progress, we need to be available and approachable. Even if he understands the Bible well, factors like demanding secular work or opposition from family can hold him back. Spending time together informally, like over coffee or during a walk, can create a comfortable setting for honest conversations. In such moments, we can gently encourage the student to make adjustments out of love for Jehovah, not to please us personally. 6. How can you help a student to find the courage to take a stand for the truth? 1 Corinthians 16:13. To help a student find the courage to take a stand for the truth, we must help him build confidence that Jehovah will support him as he applies Bible standards. Like a patient teacher who builds a student's self-confidence, a good Bible teacher reassures the learner that with Jehovah's help, change is possible. This approach involves more than just teaching rules. It means encouraging the student to believe that Jehovah will strengthen him, as stated in 1 Corinthians 16:13. That assurance can give him the courage to take firm steps in his spiritual growth. 7. How did Jesus help those who listened to him to grow in their love for Jehovah? Jesus helped his listeners grow in their love for Jehovah by teaching in ways that highlighted God's warmth and compassion. He often used illustrations that portrayed Jehovah as a loving father, someone who gives good gifts or welcomes back a wayward son with mercy and joy. These teachings may have deeply moved those who had never experienced such fatherly affection, helping them to feel Jehovah's love personally. This emotional connection to God's qualities helped stir genuine love in their hearts. 8. How can you help a Bible student to deepen his love for Jehovah? We can help a Bible student deepen his love for Jehovah by consistently highlighting Jehovah's appealing qualities during each study. Help the student see how every lesson reflects God's love and how His standards are rooted in care and mercy. When discussing the ransom, emphasize how it demonstrates Jehovah's personal love for him. By making these connections clear, using scriptures like Romans 5:8, 1 John 4:10, and Galatians 2:20, the student is more likely to feel loved by Jehovah and, in turn, respond with love and devotion. 9. What helped a man named Michael to change his life course? Michael's turning point came when he reflected deeply on Jehovah's love, especially as shown through the ransom. Although he was raised around the truth, he never got baptized and lived far from his family for work. But after returning home and starting a Bible study, the Dig Deeper section in Lesson 27 of Enjoy Life Forever touched him deeply. When he meditated on how Jehovah must have felt watching his son suffer, he was moved to tears. That heartfelt appreciation for the ransom stirred gratitude and led him to change his life course and get baptized. 10. How did Jesus help his early disciples to adjust their priorities? Luke 5:5-11. Jesus helped his early disciples shift their focus to spiritual matters by building their trust in Jehovah's care. Though they already recognized Jesus as the Messiah, Peter, Andrew, James, and John were still deeply involved in their fishing business. Jesus invited them to follow him full-time, and they responded by leaving their nets, likely after arranging care for their families. What gave them the courage to make that decision was a powerful miracle that assured them of Jehovah's ability to provide. This strengthened their confidence and helped them prioritize the ministry. 11. How can we use our own experiences to strengthen a student's faith? Although we can't perform miracles, we can build a student's faith by sharing our own experiences of how Jehovah supports those who put Him first. For example, recalling how Jehovah helped us when we had to adjust our work schedule for meetings can be powerful. By explaining how our faith was strengthened through Jehovah's support, we reassure our students that they too can trust Him when facing similar decisions. These real-life examples show that Jehovah always backs up those who make His worship their priority. 12. Why should we invite different publishers to a Bible study? Inviting different publishers to a Bible study can be very beneficial because it allows the student to hear how others from various backgrounds have successfully adjusted their priorities to serve Jehovah. These real-life experiences can make spiritual goals feel more attainable. When fellow believers share how they came into the truth and what helped them make Jehovah's service their main focus, it can motivate the student to take similar steps. This also helps the student feel part of a supportive spiritual family. 12th Part B. How can you use videos to teach your student effectively? Give an example. Videos in the Enjoy Life. Forever Book can enhance the student's understanding by illustrating key spiritual principles in a relatable way. Taking time to watch videos from the Dig Deeper or Explore sections can make the study more engaging and impactful. For example, while covering Lesson 37, you could highlight lessons from the video, Jehovah Will Care for Our Needs. This visual example reinforces the message that trusting in Jehovah leads to blessings, encouraging the student to rely more fully on God's care. 13. How did Jesus prepare His disciples for opposition? Jesus prepared His disciples for opposition by warning them clearly and repeatedly about what they would face. He explained that opposition could come not only from strangers, but even from their own families. As His ministry progressed, He further alerted them to the possibility of persecution and even death. Despite these sobering warnings, Jesus taught them to be cautious and discreet in their ministry, advising them to avoid direct confrontation. This guidance helped them remain focused on their preaching work while staying safe and faithful under pressure. 14. How can we help a student to prepare for opposition? 2 Timothy 3:12. We can prepare a Bible student for opposition by helping them understand what to expect and how to respond. As 2 Timothy 3:12 explains, anyone who wants to live a godly life will face challenges. Co-workers might ridicule the student's lifestyle changes, and even close friends or family members could criticize their beliefs. By addressing these possibilities early in the study process, we help the student build emotional and spiritual resilience so that opposition does not take them by surprise or weaken their determination. 15. What could help a Bible student to cope with family opposition? To help a student cope with family opposition, we can encourage them to consider why their relatives may be upset. Often, family members may misunderstand the student's motives, thinking they've been misled or reacting out of prejudice. Reminding the student that even Jesus faced resistance from his own family can offer comfort and perspective. Teaching the student to respond with patience and tact rather than anger or defensiveness can help maintain peace and possibly soften hearts over time. 16. How can we help a Bible student to share his beliefs in a tactful way? We can help a student be tactful by encouraging him not to share too much too quickly, even when relatives show interest. Giving too much information at once may overwhelm them and close the door to future conversations. Instead, the student should aim to leave the conversation open-ended and inviting. As Colossians 4:6 advises, his speech should be gracious and well-balanced. One practical suggestion is to invite relatives to explore jw.org, where they can learn at their own pace and form their own conclusions without pressure. 17. How can you train a student to deal with the misconceptions others may have about Jehovah's Witnesses? To prepare a student to address misconceptions, we can use practical tools like the Frequently Asked Questions series on jw.org. These resources can help the student formulate simple, respectful answers when questioned by relatives or coworkers. Additionally, reviewing the Some People Say section at the end of each Enjoy Life Forever lesson can help identify common misunderstandings. Encourage the student to rehearse his responses in his own words and offer helpful suggestions to improve clarity and tone. This kind of preparation will help him speak with confidence and gentleness, as urged in 2 Timothy 2:24-25. 18. How can you encourage a student to share his faith in the ministry? Matthew 10:27. We can encourage a Bible student to share his faith by helping him see the value of doing so early in his spiritual journey. As Matthew 10:27 shows, Jesus urged his disciples to speak publicly about the good news. When a congregation campaign is announced, it's a perfect opportunity to motivate the student to consider qualifying as a publisher. You can explain that many have found it easier to start preaching during such special campaigns. Also, the training provided at midweek meetings can help him feel more confident. As he takes steps in this direction, he'll grow in his ability to express his beliefs and learn to rely more fully on Jehovah. 19. How did Jesus show confidence in his disciples, and how can we imitate him? Jesus showed confidence in his disciples by focusing on their loyalty rather than their doubts. Even when they misunderstood important teachings, like the promise of being reunited with him, Jesus remained patient and supportive. He acknowledged that they needed time to grasp deeper truths, such as the heavenly hope. Similarly, we can imitate Jesus by showing confidence in our Bible students' sincere desire to please Jehovah, even if their understanding or progress is still developing. This reassurance can strengthen their resolve to continue moving forward. 20. How did a sister in Malawi show confidence in her student? Chifundo, a sister in Malawi, showed confidence in her student Alinafe by continuing the study even when the student's initial reaction seemed discouraging. When Alinafi gave an emotional response about the use of images in worship, Chifundo might have assumed the study was over. But instead, she remained patient and hopeful, trusting that Alinafi would eventually understand Jehovah's viewpoint. Her patience was rewarded months later when Alinafi acknowledged how the Bible had benefited her and made significant changes, including rejecting images in worship. This led to her qualifying for baptism, showing the value of confidence and endurance in teaching. 21. How can we strengthen a student's desire to take a stand for the truth? We strengthen a student's desire to take a stand for the truth by doing more than just explaining what Jehovah requires. As 1 Corinthians 3:7 reminds us, Jehovah is the one who makes spiritual growth possible, but we play a vital supporting role. We help the student cultivate a deep love for Jehovah, encourage him to adjust his priorities to reflect that love, and teach him to rely on Jehovah when facing challenges. Most importantly, when we express sincere confidence in the student's ability to live up to Jehovah's standards, we build his conviction that he truly can take a firm and lasting stand for the truth. Now, let's move on to answering the review questions of this article. How can we help a Bible student to identify obstacles to his progress? We can help a Bible student identify what's holding him back by taking time to listen and understand his personal challenges. Informal conversations, like sharing a coffee or taking a walk, can create a relaxed setting where he feels safe to open up. Gently encourage him to examine how things like work or family pressures may be affecting his progress. Reassure him that any changes he makes are not to please us, but to show his love for Jehovah. How can we help a Bible student to deepen his love for Jehovah? To deepen a student's love for Jehovah, we should constantly highlight Jehovah's qualities during the study. Help the student make a connection between what he's learning and God's personal love for him. For example, when discussing the ransom, emphasize how it reflects Jehovah's care specifically for him. These personal applications can move the student's heart and strengthen his love for Jehovah. How can we help a Bible student to adjust his priorities? We help a student adjust his priorities by showing him that serving Jehovah brings lasting benefits and support. Sharing real-life experiences, our own or others, can build his confidence in Jehovah's care. Encourage him to take small steps, like attending meetings or preparing to become a publisher, especially during campaigns. As he begins putting Jehovah first, he will experience how Jehovah provides, which will help him continue making spiritual things his priority.